Hi, this is Jon Gabriel with the Gabriel Method, and welcome to our new series of monthly webinars called What's Working Now? You already know that the conventional approach to weight loss through restrictive diets and calorie counting doesn't work. And the purpose of these webinars is to provide you with real, holistic solutions that do work. As you may also know, my coaching team and I have recently started an intense private coaching program called the Ultimate Coaching Experience. And since all of us, myself included, work one-on-one with everyone in the program, that occupies the bulk of our time. So we decided to make this amazing series of webinars available freely to everyone so you can get a sense of what's working now for our clients in the coaching program. Today's class is called How to Feed Your Family Super Healthy on a Budget, and I'm very pleased to be joined by my friend, colleague, and Gabriel Method success story, Christine Kennedy. No one is more qualified to talk about feeding a family healthy than Christine Kennedy. Christine has 11, that's right, 11 kids ages 3 to 20. And in the midst of running this amazingly large family, she's also managed to lose over 110 pounds or 50 kilos herself and has kept it off easily for over 3 years now. Her family has also benefited tremendously by her transformation, both from a health perspective, as she's introduced many healthy eating and lifestyle habits, and because they get to enjoy a parent who's now full of life, health, vitality, and passion. Christine's been trained by me personally as a Gabriel Method coach and is getting rave reviews from her clients. I find Christine to be amazingly creative and knowledgeable about feeding a family healthy on a budget, and the information she's going to share with you is truly life-changing. So Christine, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, John. Thanks very much. I'm really happy to be here.
Great. I'm excited to talk to you. So Christine, you've got 11 kids. Is that
Yes, I
right?
do. That's right. Yes.
Okay, so 11 ages 3 to 20, is that correct?
Yeah, they're actually 21 now, and my youngest is now 4.
Any grandchildren?
Yes, I'm a grandma. I have a little 1-year-old granddaughter.
Okay, and that's amazing. And in the midst of all of this, you were able to lose 50 kilos yourself, or 110 pounds. Is that right?
That's right, John. It was so important for me when I realized that, my kids weren't benefiting from the mother that I was being because I just didn't have the energy that I needed to look after them. And
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy with the way that I could be there for my kids. Um, and a lot of things changed, and I knew I had to do something.
So how did you do it? I mean, everyone's going to be asking this question. You know, we all have families. Most of us listening have families, 1 kid, 2 kids, 5 kids. We're all in a situation where we're feeling like we don't have the energy. How do you manage to do that? How did you
Sure,
summon
John.
up the energy to run this family and at the same time reclaim your health and vitality?
John, I tried a lot of times before to lose weight. I tried many other different types of diets. I'd done crazy things like try diet pills. Like I'm sure I'm not the only one who's tried silly things like that. And I would lose a lot of weight. I would lose 20 kilos and then I would find the weight would pile straight back on really quickly, and I'd add another 10 kilos as well. So I ended up being, having my 11th child and being 50 kilos overweight, and that's about 110 pounds, I believe.
Yeah,
Um, so I got to that stage when I kind of just stopped and I kind of accepted where I was, and I wasn't in a good place. I realized, I felt that I was stuck in this body. This is where I was going to be, and I was obviously going to be fat for the rest of my life. But it was then, John, that I was looking on the net and I found your book, The Gabriel Method, um, and it was truly life-changing for me. That, when I read your story and I looked at your photos, um, I saw me in that lineup of people there, of your photos, and you had a real story, and what you were telling people was something that was not only going to help them lose weight, but was going to change their life, completely, holistically, spiritually, um, and regain the person that they deserve to be. I was in tears reading your book, John, and got to, the chapter on emotional obesity,
yeah,
and realized that it was pretty much a big factor for me was something in my past, an abuse from childhood that was holding me back. And that was pretty hard to face because when I realized that I had to go deep into my mind and deal with that and clear it up so that I could move on and lose weight and be the me that I deserve to be, it was tough.
yeah.
Um,
but you obviously did it tremendously successfully. And that's a lot what we talk about in the Gabriel Method. So, we're going to be talking today a lot about budgets and shopping and food. And people always love to talk about food, right? And the whole time that you were trying to lose weight through the different diets, that's what it was all about, right? It was all about food. But it turns out there's other issues that have to be addressed. And that's what we talk about a lot in the Gabriel Method. And that's what you learn, that you dealt with those other issues. And then in dealing with those other issues, it kind of gave you kind of like a kickstart. Is that right? Did you feel like a
It
resurgence of energy or passion? What did
Yeah,
you?
it absolutely did. I had a lot of support from my husband and family and dealing with the issues that were holding me back. And once that had cleared, um, and I realized that I could use visualizations to help manage stress in the family, with the children and such, and all the other things going on, I just was ready. I absolutely felt uh, the trigger that you talk about just
Yeah,
flick
the
over,
switch. Yeah,
the switch
yeah. You
flick
just
over.
That's what we hear with people. When you get this switch,
Yeah,
when it flips over, you just have this resurgence of energy and you can make everything happen. And really what I think the real benefit of a webinar like this is, Christine, is that for people that have been able to identify the trigger and the switch and they've got the energy, the next
yeah,
question is, how do you apply it? How do you make the most of your money and your resources and reclaim your energy, have super delicious foods, have your family enjoy them, not feel like you're on a diet, improve your digestion, detoxify,
yeah.
nourish your body, all these things. So let's jump into it because I know everybody's really eager to hear some of your tips. So the first one you
Sure.
have here is try to visualize what you want before you go. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, I've learned a lot about the mind body approach and how powerful your thoughts are. And so when I'm getting ready to go shopping, what I like to do is I just think about what we're going to be eating. I think about what I'd like to be giving the children this fortnight, and I visualize finding them. I literally just do that. Um,
Yeah,
I find the chicken breast that we're going to need for this meal that I've thought about. I find the organic food on sale this week, and I do
that's
this
really
in my
interesting. So,
mind.
so that's so interesting. So basically, the first thing you do, I guess, is that you plan out your meals for what, for a week, for the day, for how far in advance do you plan out your meals, and how many of those do you plan out?
I think about the meals for the next fortnight because we try to do,
Okay.
a big shop every fortnight and then a smaller shop every other week. So I
Do all
don't
the kids come
exactly,
along for the shop? It must be
no,
it must be quite a
no,
shop. Yeah.
no.
That would be yeah.
It's usually just me, or I take one along with me because
Yeah.
my shopping expedition is almost a whole day experience.
So when you say you plan your meals for a fortnight, are you talking about all dinners, all breakfasts, all lunches, all snacks? What are we talking about here?
I don't exactly plan all the meals, but I have an idea of what sort of meals I'm going to be preparing for that fortnight. And so I leave it a little bit open and flexible so that when I get to the stores and find the things that are available that fortnight, I go, oh, that's right, I can fit that into that meal. For example, if the chicken breast is a great buy that fortnight, I can plan a couple of chicken breast meals, a stir fry, an almond chicken, and the almond chicken nuggets as well,
Right.
all
So,
in
so
that
you, so
fortnight.
you're going to have, you might have a choice of different ideas that are based on different
Yeah,
animal proteins,
yeah,
and you're
that's
going to
right.
kind of go with what's happening at the time.
Yeah, and I'm thinking
What
about what the children are going to be, accepting of, and what most of them are going to like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when you go to the store, do you have a list of ingredients, or do you have a list of meals and conceptual ideas? Like, what does your list look like?
I have a list of ingredients usually, the things that I know we always need. Um, and I often will put like in the corner and some ideas of meals that I've been thinking about just so that they're present in my mind when I'm shopping.
And
Yeah.
where do you get your ideas for meals?
Well, some of them we've just kind of created a trial and error with the children. I have presented them with certain things that are, as Gabriel Method friendly as I can do, and just ask them what they think and how they react. And I can, tweak those ideas to suit their needs and suit their tastes.
Okay, so
Sometimes
let's
they're a
talk
big
about
hit,
yeah,
sometimes they're a big hit, and sometimes they're
right.
not. So, Yeah.
Right. So it's all trial and error basically until you
Yeah.
develop a kind of like a, a an assembly of or database of different
Yeah.
resources,
Yeah,
cooking
and
food
we've been
resources,
working
basically.
on it for a while now. So,
I'm sure.
I've got a few staples that do go down really well with most, if not all of the children. So that's great.
Okay, great. So check or buy fruits and vegetables that are in season.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Well, if they're in season, the price is going to be a lot better, and the
Yeah.
quality is going to be a lot better. They haven't been in storage and such, so they're fresh. Um, we look forward to times like summer where the watermelons are in season. Um,
Hmm.
because everybody in the family loves watermelons. They're great. We will just eat a watermelon at a sitting, for a lunch or a morning tea. Um, and so, yeah, we get those then. And right now, like the strawberries are, in season. So
Oh, they're really
we,
good, yeah.
yeah, so we can, change our meals. Some of my children love their banana and strawberry smoothies. So we use that. And we also, like, I love them as just a snack. Um, Yeah, so that's why, just so better
Yeah.
quality and they're, easily they're available and fresh.
Absolutely. They're so much cheaper and they're much better quality. There's no question about it.
Yeah,
You're saying, and then you say, check the organic health food store first for what they have on special.
yeah, John, like quite realistically, we can't manage to get all organic all the time,
Sure,
but
sure.
what we try and do is get organic when we can. And I think that's really important for people to understand, not to be so concerned about what they can't do, but
Right,
just look at what you can do.
right,
So when I'm shopping, I have a couple of organic stores that I go to first before I go to the supermarket. They will often have, their bags of salad leaves and the bunches of kale and celery um, are usually a pretty good price anyway. So
right.
I will gather those things from that store first before I
And
go to the
I
supermarket.
just want to make a point that's a really important point that you're saying too, is about people feeling like if they can't, they focus on what they can't do. I hear so many times people say, "Well, I can't afford organic, so I can't I can't do the Gabriel method." And what the important message is, like for you in losing weight, there's many other factors that you had to address that
Yeah,
really kick-started you and made it all happen. And then you do what you can do as far as organic or locally grown or in season, or you do the best you can, and nothing takes you out of the box. Nothing makes it preclusive so that you can't do something. So that advice of focusing on what you can do and focusing and never losing sight of the real issues, that combination is from my experience in working with people, very much a winning combination.
absolutely. Yeah.
Now you talk about going to the supermarket when you're in the supermarket to check the organic section first.
Yeah, that's right. They do have a really good range. I think the supermarkets are now, catering to a lot more people who are health conscious and looking for organic. They have a really good range at
Right.
our supermarket, at least, of just really good priced organic produce that is a good choice. So it doesn't
It's
have to
true.
be always really expensive.
Right. Right. It's true. The supermarkets typically have organic food that's cheaper because they buy it in bulk. So
Yeah.
that's great. That's great advice. And then when you're talking about buying healthy food on a budget, on a discount, going to your local farmers market at least once a week, I think is great
Yeah.
advice. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. I love going to my local farmers market. And just what I always look for the real people, the small sellers, and just like to chat with the people there. And I know that they've grown the things themselves. They
Yeah.
haven't bought them in to sell cheap or anything. Um,
Right.
I
The beauty of the beauty of the farmers market is you've got people, maybe it's not certified organic, but you can talk to them
yeah,
and they can tell you if they're using pesticides or not. And a lot of times they
that's
say,
it.
no, we're just spray free. So that's great. And then there's no middleman. It's just them and a couple of boxes. And so you're going to get a good deal. It's all going to be in season. So the farmers market, and we've got a huge one here in Noosa. I recently
Yeah.
found sausages, for example, there's meat, they're beef. There's beef, lamb, and pork sausages where they don't use any flour, any grains whatsoever, which is fabulous,
Ah,
isn't it? So
fantastic.
no, Yeah, and it's all grass fed, and it's cheap. It was $4 a kilo.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, really, really
Yeah,
great. And there's amazing buys there. So I love to go too. And yeah, you know, you really get to know the regulars there and who works with you and who doesn't. So
that's it.
I think that's great advice.
That's it. And if you're getting a lot of my celery and such for juicing and kale and spinach, um, and like the people there would love to give me the bunches of celery for $1.50 a dollar a bunch,
Wow.
and and which is terrific. And then what I do is I always go to the same people, and they're like, oh, Christine, you're back, and oh, we've got this week, and I'll say to them, if I'll buy those last 7 bunches there, and they'll say, all right, we'll only charge you for 5. So you really do get to know the farmers and the real people. It's a really lovely way to shop, actually.
That's beautiful because
Yeah.
just to put that in perspective, if you're getting celery for $1 a bunch, is that
Yeah,
organic or spray
sometimes
free or is it
that's spray free from
spray free?
these local farmers. Yeah.
Right. So like right now, organic celery at my gourmet organic place here is selling for $9 a bunch.
Yeah, yeah, it's about
Nine
7.
dollars. Yeah,
So that's
seven
a
to nine
huge
dollars.
saving.
So you go to your farmer's market, you can get it for $1. If you can get it for $1 a bunch, that's pretty
Mm,
amazing.
yeah, and at the organic store here, sorry, at the supermarket, the regular celery is selling for $3 or $4 a bunch.
Right.
So if
Right.
you're getting organic for a third or a quarter of that price, it doesn't have to be expensive. There are ways around it.
Right. So let's talk about meat and dairy for a second.
Sure, sure, John. Yeah,
So you're
again,
saying organic meat, sometimes the prices aren't more expensive?
yeah, sometimes they're not. And it just, people think of the word organic and kind of balk at it because it can be expensive to buy organic all the time. However, I think just if you're open to it and you just look, um, you will often be drawn to or find what you need. I've found places where the meat, like this is at the same farmers market as well. There's a grass-fed place that sells pork and beef and lamb as well, and I get the mince and the roast and the stir fry, the beef strips, and all on a par with regular supermarket prices. But
Wow.
it's all grass-fed, and and again they have a system where if you buy a certain amount of meat, they'll give you something like an extra kilo for free. So it really does bring the price down when you're buying from these types of places.
Yeah, and just to talk a little bit about why it's so important to have organic meat versus conventionally farmed meat. When conventionally farmed meat, so the cows they're getting grains, which changes the
Yeah,
fat from an omega-3 to omega-6, which makes it more inflammatory. The fat becomes more inflammatory, which then causes you to gain weight. There's also hormones that cause you to gain weight. There's pesticides. And all kinds of sprays in the grains and all the food that they eat. So it's loaded with all kinds. Then there's nitrates in some foods, and
right.
sometimes they even put arsenic in some of the foods because it's
Yeah,
a preservative. It makes the food keeps the food from smelling bad. So there's all kinds of stuff that in regular or conventionally farmed meat that you do not get in organic meat. So if you can get organic meat at relatively the same price, which I do believe you can get at a farmer's market, and I even find at the health food store it's not that much more expensive. The mince is maybe
yeah.
$1 or $2 a kilo more, and that's it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
just this last month, our local health food store has had their mince actually at the same price as regular mince from a supermarket because they have a
Wow.
monthly special, and mince was it. And so what we did is we bought up, and we
Awesome.
now have it. We now have it in the freezer for the next, several weeks.
Yeah. Find a source of
Yeah,
raw milk. Let's talk about that. Finding a
yeah,
source of
sure.
raw milk. Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of places that we can get raw milk here, and I think it's really just keeping your ears to the ground and finding if there's someone in your area that sells raw milk. We have friends who have a farm, and they sometimes deliver us several liters of milk to the front door, um, and we might give them some eggs from our chooks. So
Right.
we swap like that. There's also the Cleopatra's milk that you're aware of too. That
So Cle Yeah, so before we talk about clear as pastures milk, I just want to talk about raw milk in general and why raw milk's
Yeah,
important. So
sure.
what happens when you pasteurize milk, once you eat it, it becomes inflammatory in your gut. Because it's been changed molecularly, your body can't digest it properly, and it causes inflammation. The inflammatory hormones cause you to gain weight. It also causes an immune system response, and all of these things become very detrimental not only to your energy but to your weight loss.
Yeah.
Raw milk doesn't have the same problem. It also has live, friendly, healthy bacteria, which are so essential for digestion. You just have to make sure it's from a good source. We have a good source. Our local health food store has sort of a co-op where you actually can buy a share of a cow,
Oh,
and
wow.
and so every week you get X number of bottles based on your share. You spend about $40 to $60 to buy your share, and then the actual raw milk turns out to be a couple of dollars a liter after that. That's something
That's
to look at
great.
too. And I
That's a
love this.
great idea.
Yeah, and I love the suggestion you have. Introduce family to almond milk and other nut milks
Yeah.
because they don't have the same inflammatory response either.
Yeah, that's right, John. And they taste great.
And what do you do about almond milk? Do you buy it? Do you make it?
We do both, John. I sometimes buy it, but we've made it ourselves too because I like the fact that it's really easy to make. I think it brings the cost down when you make it yourself, and you know what's in it. You know that
Sure.
there's no preservatives in it at all. So
And sometimes they
it's
put a lot of sugar in it too, so
yeah,
and then it becomes a
it's
problem.
it's hard to get ones without sugar. Um, yeah, but the almond milk we make is just almonds and filtered water. So yeah.
Great. Do your kids like it?
Yeah, some of them do, John, and some of them aren't that keen, but it's, always there as an option for people who want to try it.
Hmm. So what
Yeah.
about buying in bulk? Let's talk about that. Is that something you do?
Yeah. Oh, it is something we do a lot because what I've found, obviously, like when you buy the things in bulk, you're going to get them for a cheaper price.
Hmm.
I've actually introduced my health food store to the concept of buying things in bulk, simply by asking for them. Because the things I wanted were more than I wanted to pay for them. The cacao, the raw cacao, and I was looking for some seaweed. Um, and I wanted to try and make it a little bit easier for our budget to manage. So I just asked the lady at the counter, and can you get this in bigger sizes? And she said, no, I don't think so. And she said, hang on, I'll just check for you. And she said, oh, I can actually. Oh, wow, that brings the price down to half what you'll be paying.
Oh, is that
So
right?
it is exactly right. So within a few days, she had in the raw cacao and the beans, the raw cacao beans, and a huge bag of seaweed for me.
Wow.
So it just ask.
I
Yeah,
think it's a great idea. I do that sometimes too, where
yeah,
especially when they don't have something that I need. Like
yeah,
for a long time, I was eating a lot of nutritional yeast, and my health
yeah,
food store, convenience store didn't have it, and they started ordering it. Then
yeah,
they started ordering in bulk for me. So yeah,
yeah,
really, the message that I'm hearing a lot from you is work with the people that you purchase from. Get to know them, find out what they can and can't do for you. They'll start
yeah.
appreciating you more. They'll start giving you better deals. Is that correct?
Exactly right, John. And also the other message is, you know what, we deserve to have these things, and it's okay to go out of your way and just ask. The worst someone can do is say, no, sorry, we can't do that.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's when you think, okay, that's not the right option. How else is this going to work for me? And you just look for
yeah,
another option, and things will work out.
yeah. I love
Yeah.
your creative approach and your can-do approach. I love that. So let's talk about some shopping tips.
Sure, John. With things like getting rid of sugar out of the house. Now, we haven't done that completely, but we have offered alternatives like the xylitol and the coconut palm sugar.
Mm,
Now, I'll just mention xylitol. If you buy it by the bag from the shelf, you're going to be paying a lot more than if you buy it online in a box of a large quantity. Um, we order ours in boxes of 12 and a half kilos, and the price is about half of what you'd be paying if you bought it off the shelf.
wow.
So, and it stores well. It doesn't attract ants because it's not a sugar. and we just fill our containers when we need to. So that's the way we
Yeah.
do that.
So I'll
Um,
just talk about the importance of xylitol and coconut palm sugar. They're good, they're healthy sweeteners. They don't elevate your blood sugar and cause as
yeah.
much of an insulin response as table sugar. Coconut palm sugar is easy to digest, and xylitol is very low in the glycemic index. They're all natural, they're
Mhm.
not artificial. Xylitol is made from birch bark and corn cobs. It's a sugar alcohol, and coconut palm sugar, of course, is made from coconut palm. But
Yeah.
they're really, really good sugar alternatives that we use in a lot of our baking in our recipe books and a lot of the recipes we come up with. Also raw cacao, we also use a lot of that. It's very high in antioxidants. If it's and we recommend buying it unsweetened, so
Yeah.
that and then you just sweeten with the healthy sugars.
That's right, John. And the raw cacao has been one of the easiest ones that we've introduced to the family because they love, hot drinks, and they used to have the Milo and just the cocoa. So we now have a raw cacao, a xylitol, and a coconut palm sugar mix already made up for the children to use. Um,
Nice.
and so I know that, when they're doing that and adding raw milk to it, they're getting a nutritious drink that they're really liking. Um,
I
and
love
it's
it.
not going to elevate their blood sugar,
I,
not
I,
going to give
I
them a sugar
love it.
hit. Yeah,
Beautiful. And you find a difference in them, right? They're not banging off the
absolutely.
walls, right? And crashing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
love
right, for
it.
sure.
Okay, organic fruits and vegetables. We talked about free range
Yeah,
chicken and organic meat.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about chia seeds, linseeds, and hemp seeds for omega-3s.
Yeah, that's just the three options we use here for our omega-3s. Um, and like we use different ones. The children like to use the chia seeds, and when they're making their smoothies, and if they're having scrambled eggs and such, they'll use the chia seeds um, for that. They'll add them to it. Um,
If you have some kind of like bulk ideas or something, the best way to get chia seeds and hemp seeds, etc.
I buy the hemp seeds in the biggest bag I can find, basically, and that does bring the price down. Doing it that way. The chia seeds you can buy at our organic store.
Yeah.
You can get them just on tap, so they're in a big canister, and you fill your own bag yourself. And that's a cheaper way to get them than buying them already packaged.
Yeah, that's the way we do it. And the chia seeds that
Yeah,
we have in our health food store are spray-free in bulk,
you're right. Yeah,
which is great. So they're not sort of certified organic, but I do want to say with chia seeds, linseeds, which are also known as flax seeds, and hemp seeds, they're very high in omega-3s, which is essential for reducing inflammation and reversing the hormonal conditions that cause you to gain weight. They're truly omega-3s are truly essential, but because the seeds have a high quantity of fat, even though it's healthy fat, it does tend to hold on to pesticides more because pesticides and are typically stored in the fat of the plant, which is the seed. So that's where
right.
this that just like in our bodies we store toxins in our fat cells, plants do the same. So especially when you're getting healthy fats, you want to try to get them at the very least to try to get them spray free whenever possible. If not organic, organic's typically
Yeah,
expensive. Spray free is not as expensive.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah,
taking
for sure.
lots of live food. So what's the best way to get lots of live food?
Yeah, well, like I said before, we go to the organic store first, and I get what I can from there.
Yeah.
The things that are on their table of, the markdown table. Then I go to their fridges and get my kale and such from there. But what we also do is we grow a lot of our own live foods. So I think we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Let's talk about it
Um,
now.
yeah, sure.
It's the
Okay,
next
that's a
slide.
great idea. We we grow a lot of our own, and when I was first looking at the idea of buying all organic for our family, I thought about, you know, we can't realistically buy all organic food right now on the budget that we have. But instead of worrying about that, we start to think about, okay, so what can I do? Again, um, you might think that your space is too small, or you don't have the time to garden, or you can't afford it. Well, these things really aren't issues because you don't need a big space to start. Um, just a really small one garden plot, or one pot on the windowsill, is better than doing nothing at all. And you can grow something there. And so we didn't start out with a huge garden. We have a massive garden now, and I really really love it. But we didn't start out like that. We started out with just one plot. And you start by buying one bag of seeds or one punnet of seedlings and plant those and nurture those and just watch them grow um, and watch the ripple effect happen, because, you start small and it spreads and spreads.
So
So,
how
yeah,
did you learn about that? How does one, if one really wants to get started in this, because it is a great idea, but it obviously requires some organization. And again, as you say, you don't even need to have a backyard. You can just plant lettuce in pots along the
yeah,
windowsill.
that's right, for sure.
How do you learn about it? How do you get started? And how much work does it really take?
Well, how we learned about it personally, well, there was some trial and error involved, but
Yeah.
we had, when my grandparents passed away, John, they had a book that my mother got, and it was a book by Esther Dean called No Dig Gardening, which I really recommend people have a look at. It's a very simple way to set up a garden um, that kind of looks after itself. It's a layering effect with newspaper and with chicken manure and hay. So what you end up with this multiple layered garden, which really looks after itself. The soil is soft, and the plants just really seem to thrive there. Um,
Say the name of the book again, please.
the name, I'm pretty sure it's No Dig Garden or something like
No
that by
dig.
Esther Dean. Yeah, No Dig
How do you spell Dean?
Gardening.
Dean?
Dean,
Okay.
Estherdean.
Okay.
Yeah, my mum got the book from my grandparents' house, and she introduced it in her place and insisted that my sister and brother and I all got a copy because she was so impressed with it. And it is available online too, I think, for under $10, this book. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
So the gardens were
And
inexpensive to set up. My husband and my children got together with pieces of wood that they had and built the frames. Yeah, so they weren't expensive to build. They weren't expensive to make because the newspapers were free from a Lifeline store. They were just sitting outside there, and they let us take them home. This huge bunch of newspapers for layering. The hay we got from friends down the road who have a farm. We bought the bales straight from them, so they weren't expensive. Um, and we have fences that we built around the gardens, John, because we have the chickens and the dogs. We don't want them in there. So
sure.
these fences are built out of metal bed frames,
Okay.
and they cost $3 each, and they make this really strong fence.
That sounds like another webinar. You're going to have to teach us how to do that. I would, as a matter of fact, I would love to
so
do that with you. Maybe you should,
so
come over and you could teach us how to make a
sure,
healthy garden. That sounds great.
terrific. Yeah,
Excellent.
it's a little bit of thinking outside the box, John. It's like, what can I do to make this work?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was our solution, and it works for us.
Again, I love your can-do mentality. You can't do everything. You can't get all organic. You can't grow all your food. You don't have time for that or whatever it is, but you
Yeah,
can do some things. And I love the fact that you're always focusing on what you can do, not what
yeah.
you can't do. I think that's such a powerful message, and it
It's in
causes and it makes you become very creative in terms of your solutions. I love that.
Yeah, and I think it also, the more you start doing that, John, with the little things and think, okay, what can I do here? And if you do one thing, you start to build up that confidence and realize that things are going to attract themselves to you the more you try this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it,
Yeah.
it rubs off great on the family too. They've got this mentality too.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah,
And let's talk about sprouts and eggs.
sure.
Because sprouts are something that you can do very, very easily. Even I can do
Yeah.
sprouts.
Yeah, yeah, they don't take up room and they're really quick. You get your healthy green live food really quick in a couple of days. And we didn't have a sprouter, so we went for again a simple idea that came from my mother. Is just a jar with a flat base, like one of those. It's like a cookie jar that you lean on the side that you can reach into, so it has a flat base. Um, and I took off the lid and you put a bit of stocking over that with a rubber band and put your seeds in the base of that. And
Yeah,
each day I just run them under, our water filter, and swish the water around and tip it out through the stocking and place it back on the bench again.
yeah.
And within a few
And,
few days, you've got them.
and
Yeah,
sprouts are such a good form of live food. It's
yeah,
full of healthy, friendly bacteria and nutrients and vitamins and life force vitality. It's one of the healthiest things you can put in your body and just so
yeah.
easy and cheap to grow.
They're great. They're yummy and sweet, and they can go in salads for
Mm,
the children's
I
lunches.
love
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm starting to like more and more lentil and bean sprouts, like chickpea sprouts and bean
yeah.
sprouts. I'm finding they're just really, really satisfying in a salad.
Yeah, we've done chickpea sprouts and mung bean sprouts and alfalfa. I tried the wheatgrass to sprout like that, and it wasn't so successful. So we're still working on a solution
No,
to that one.
yeah. All right, we'll leave
Yeah,
wheatgrass for another conversation. So you
yeah,
have you have chickens, is that right?
yeah. We do, John. Yeah, we've had up to about 9 chickens. We don't have that many at the moment. In fact, I've just ordered some new ones. But we buy them when they're day old chickens or really little for, $4 or $5 each. And the children raise them, so they really get to, handle them and hold them and connect with them and feed them each day
Nice,
and watch them
nice.
change and grow. And so it's just a little bit of, them getting in touch with nature. Um,
Yeah.
it's a lovely thing to watch and to do. And
And
so
and
when they,
how many eggs are supplied to you with the chickens that you have?
well, each chicken lays one a day. So, we
That's
were
great.
getting, 9 or 10 a day when we had that many, which was
That's
great.
great.
We had too many at the time, and we have neighbours who have a great lemon tree. So we were just trading our lemons for our eggs with them, um,
Right. And
which is terrific.
that leads to the
Yeah.
next tip that you have, bartering and trading with friends. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, you won't always have room or be able to grow everything that you want to use, but you have other things you can offer, like you might be able to give haircuts. You might be able to look after someone's dog when they're away, or babysit for them,
Mm.
or take some photographs. You might be a great photographer,
Or do
and
someone's
they
books.
yeah, that's right. Do their books or their typing, that kind of thing, and you can trade that for the lemons that your neighbor grows or the eggs,
I
or
love
a
it.
home baked Gabriel Method friendly cake that someone wants to make for you. We can we trade things like that all the time with our neighbors.
Yeah.
Um, which is lovely, and it builds community, and there's a really nice feeling to of being able to give something that you've grown yourself, or that you can do for someone, and you don't really expect anything in return, but
Yeah.
it turns around.
We've done that before too, and I find that the food that you get from someone who's actually grown it, put their own love and their own energy in it, and
Yeah,
and then it's just been picked in the last 24 hours. That typically is so satisfying and so nurturing. You just feel it at every level.
yeah, you really do, absolutely.
So let's talk about changing your mindset. You got some good tips for that.
Yeah, John, like I've said a few times along, um, instead of thinking I'll never be able to afford to do that, or I can't do that because of whatever reasons, just think about, the fact that you really do deserve to be healthy, and you deserve to have the abundance. John, when I was losing my weight, that was a big um, light bulb moment for me. Was this one day I was standing at the top of the stairs, and I was really big. Um, this was after I'd read the book and after I'd dealt with the issues, but the change hadn't happened yet. So I was ready to walk down the stairs, and my husband was at the bottom of the stairs watching me. And I was carrying a big basket of washing, and he said, "Oh, honey, we really need to get a set of a house with no stairs for you because you can't walk down those stairs." Um, and I just felt the change. It was like, "Oh, you know what? Yes, I can. I'm worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I deserve this. I deserve to be healthy." And that was a real change. And so I've tried to apply that. I deserve to be healthy. I'm worth this. My family is worth this. It's worth the effort we put in, and we deserve abundance. And just using that and going out with that mindset, it's amazing what you're going to come across because you are open to this abundance that the world just wants to give you.
So I think the important point that you're making about this I deserve concept and mind shift is not that that doesn't mean all of a sudden that you're going to start spending all your money on all organic and doing everything perfect. It means that you're going to, by shifting your mindset, you're going to be finding creative solutions here and there and
Absolutely.
piecing it together. It's like a
Yeah.
puzzle. It's a riddle, and you figure out how to buy bulk xylitol, and you can trade with your friend for some vegetables here and there, or
Yeah.
you found a great place, a great source for raw milk or something like that. You're piecing it together piece by piece. It's not overnight. It unfolds over time, and then there's a momentum that starts. Is that what?
Yeah, that's right. The more you do it, the more it happens because the more confident you get and the more wow factor you get. Wow, that really happened. I can do this.
Yeah,
I do deserve this. And look, it is happening for me. I
yeah.
don't go out with the idea that I have to buy all organic. I go out shopping with the idea, I wonder how this is going to happen today. I wonder
And you
how this
visualize
is
that.
going to. I visualize it and I totally expect that it's going to happen. And you know what? Most times it does.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. All right, let's talk about some cooking tips. I love your suggestions. As I said, no one I know is more qualified to talk on this subject, and I just think that the information you're coming up with is really, really awesome. So,
Thanks, John. Yeah, well, we've gone from some really unhealthy eating habits, John, a few years ago when no one was eating well, um, and we've made the changes gradually. What my children love is just really simple finger food, easy veggie sticks, and nuts on the table, and lettuce on the table that they can just pick at, and we have it available all the time for them to just eat whenever they want to eat it. And each meal we put out now, John, has to have a salad with it.
yeah.
Most of the meals that I cook now are, a protein source, with a salad or with a light stir fry.
Mm.
Um, but sometimes, like this happened last night, for example, John, I tried to cook a meal. I thought, okay, I'll just do veggies tonight for the kids and I'll have a salad. It was my 11-year-old that said, hey, Mum, but where's our salad?
You
And
know you're
so,
doing something right when an 11-year-old
yeah,
says that to you.
yeah. So really quickly, we got together the salad and for my kids, John, in the middle of the table, I have, one of those large containers with the multiple sections in the wheel shape, like a Tupperware thing.
Yeah.
And each little segment has something in it. We have the cucumber, the carrot sticks, the some nuts sometimes, some capsicum. They love to eat raw, and then another container with just the leaves and the lettuce, and that sits in the middle so everyone can reach it. Yeah,
Right. Right. Actually, I just want to make a note on these snacks that you have. A lot of these are in I'm assuming you're referring to our recipe book. For example, the chocolate seed balls, the muesli balls, the raw chocolate
yeah,
slice, and the chocolate fudgicles, which is one of my personal favorites.
yeah.
Those are all snacks that your family enjoys?
They are, John. Yeah, a lot of the kids do. Some like them more than others, and a lot of the things that I prepare are trial and error, and I always ask the children what did you think of that? What can we do to make that suit your taste more? And we change them. But
Excellent.
yeah, we have come up with some really good recipes as well. But the raw food also is important. We do things to make it fun, John. I just like to mention we have a little the green little device that's on the front of your book too that makes the little curlies come out.
Oh yeah,
The little
yeah.
so we have
It's a vegetable curler. It makes
yeah,
the
that's
lump
right.
vegetable curly strings. Yeah.
Yep. So my kids love to have carrot curlies in their lunch in their bags.
Uh-huh.
So we just curl them through, and sometimes they love to get in and curl the carrots through. We also
Yeah.
have an apple slinky cutter, so for
Oh yeah.
afternoon tea, that's really fun for the
And
children
they
to have, and
they do that. They make the slinky
they
themselves,
they
right?
can do it themselves. That's right. We just set it up and off they go.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
And I find also this is true. You mentioned that if you get the family involved, if they're working on the thing, on the smoothies or the stir fries, or even making like we have the Gabriel Method friendly pizza, they get to design their own pizza.
yeah,
They
that's
they,
it.
they like that, right? They like being
They
involved.
make it. If they make it, they own it, John.
Yeah.
And they have this pride and this connection to it, and they not only make it for themselves, but they're making it for each other too, which
Yeah.
is beautiful to watch. I have, again, my 11-year-old is my smoothie king, um, and he makes the great smoothies with the raw milk and the raw cacao, the bananas, the hemp and chia seeds, and he'll put it together for however many kids want it.
And I find that's
Which is
true
great.
also. I find that's true also of gardening.
Yeah.
If you get them involved in the gardening and the growing of the sprouts, they're going to be really excited to eat it. Do you find that to be the case too?
That is really true, and they're far more ready to try new things. If they've planted it and they've grown it, they've watched the process, they've been inquisitive about, what's that one, mummy? What does that taste like? Oh, let's go try it. Let's taste it out of the garden. And you're picking it
Yeah.
straight there. They are
Yeah.
more keen to try new things. And they're building
Excellent.
up this knowledge. It doesn't all come at once, but they're building up this knowledge over time, and this love of the raw things.
Yeah. So let's talk about some recipes.
Sure.
You've got easy meatballs here.
Yeah, that's straight from your recipe book, John. But we make it in a risol fashion. My kids aren't really keen on having a saucy type meal,
Hmm.
so we just we add the grated zucchini and the grated carrot or the carrot pulp from our juicing and make it into rissoles, and we
Yeah.
eat it with a salad at the table, and they love that. It's really easy. It's finger food for the little guys.
I just want to make a note for a lot of people who don't know what rizzles are because I think that's a uniquely Australian
Ah,
or English term.
yeah,
So
yeah,
rizzles are sort of they're like a hamburger that has vegetables in it too. So
yeah.
onions and zucchinis and carrots and things like that. Really
That's
nice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And right. And how about the almond chicken?
Yeah, the almond chicken is beautiful. Again with a salad, John, or but you can make it in like nugget size for
Yes.
the little children to eat with their fingers again, and again with the vegetable sticks or a salad on the table, or with lightly
Yes.
stir-fried veggies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, or you can make it in like chicken fingers. We've tried too, and it's just another fun way to eat it. And if you make the Gabriel Method sauce, you can dip them in that.
Right.
That's also
And
from
so
your
the
book. Yeah,
just for people listening, the benefit of the almond chicken is that you're not using any grains, you're not using wheat, there's no
that's
gluten, there's
right.
nothing to upset your digestion. You're using almonds to form the crunchy part of the batter instead of breadcrumbs. So it's
That's
much
right.
healthier.
So they just like the chicken nuggets that you would buy,
Exactly. And the
except
sauces that
that
we
they're
use have
healthy. Yeah,
exactly. And the sauces that we use have friendlier, healthier oils that are better for you too. So
yeah,
the banana smoothie recipe is one of our favorites too.
yeah, yeah. It is popular here too. Sometimes with raw cacao in it, and sometimes without. Um, we use that every day.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah,
So
and
we've
then
got, go
we
ahead.
sometimes make more. And I might put a little extra banana or some walnuts or whatever in that, and then freeze it up for icebox that the
So
kids have for snacks.
you're taking a banana, some raw milk or almond milk, a little bit of hemp seeds and chia seeds, a little bit of vanilla, some raw cacao for a
Yeah,
chocolate banana smoothie, and
yeah,
uh, and then you freeze the leftovers as ice blocks or
that's it.
as popsicles. Yeah,
As easy as that.
excellent,
Yeah.
excellent, beautiful. Okay, what else do you have for us? Let's see here. You got yummy balls. What are
Yeah,
these?
yum. Well, again, just from your recipe book, John, you've got a couple of different recipes for different types of balls as snacks there.
Yeah,
Um, this is just one we've put together with almonds, walnuts, sunflower seeds, and chia seeds, some coconut palm sugar in there, and I do put cacao in those. And I just test the consistency, in my Vitamix and put a little bit of banana in to make it moister and some almond milk. Blend it together, and then the children love to get their fingers in and roll them together
do
and
they?
squish them, and it's really messy and fun. And
Yeah,
I don't mind if they, lick their fingers when they're finished because it's good.
yeah,
We just
yeah.
keep them in the fridge, and they're really good for putting in the kids' lunch boxes. They're also good, my husband takes them to work, and if I'm out for a big day shopping, that's one of the things that I like to take with me so that I
Yeah,
know I've
they're
got something Gabriel Method friendly that I can snack on when I need to.
That's such a good point that you have something when you're out, because sometimes when you're
Yeah,
out and there aren't healthy choices, what do you do? Well, if you've got a couple of these snack balls with you, you're in good shape.
that's right. And the other thing I like to do while we're on that point, John, is when I go out, sometimes I will make up my salad before I go, but if I don't have time, I'll get it from the organic store, like the leaves in a bag,
Hmm.
and just some chicken breast, from somewhere. But I always take a little container in my bag that has my seaweed, my chia seeds, hemp seeds, and perhaps a few walnuts or almonds in there that I can just put on my
Perfect.
salad, and
I love it.
some pepitas and sunflower seeds as well. It's always
Can,
there, so I just throw it on, and I've got my Gabriel Method meal.
I'm getting hungry just listening to
But
you.
they're so simple, such an easy
Yeah,
idea. Yeah,
excellent. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about let's kind of sum up here about slow changes have a lasting result. Let's talk about that.
absolutely. Like when I started the Gabriel Method, John, I didn't start eating all Gabriel Method friendly at first all the time. It took time. And it took
Sure.
time for me to learn about these things and to introduce them to myself one at a time. And I like to look at it as baby steps,
Mm.
and just do one thing. Just change one thing.
To me, what it looks like, though, it's like you're building up a network of health. Like
Yeah,
each time you make a connection, whether it's with a neighbor that has something, or a person at the farmer's market, or buying something, getting something in bulk at the supermarket, each time there's an idea or a connection, planning something new, you've gotten like another asset, another layer to your this kind of like this empire of health that you're building. That's the way I see it in what you're doing.
absolutely. And it's just, expanding and expanding. And not everything's going to work out, but I don't see that as a failure.
Yeah.
I see that as another opportunity to find a creative idea. You just
Right.
try again. So, okay,
Right.
that didn't work. What else can I try?
Right.
And yeah, it's always positive, and it's always just keeping trying until you find something that works for you in your situation.
Right. So focus
Yeah,
on offering a GM alternative whenever possible,
yeah.
adding GM foods to each meal.
Absolutely. And, just talk to my children. I talk to them openly about what I'm doing. Um, and I find that, when they're ready to hear, they will be inquisitive and they'll listen. Like, you don't talk to the children about not having sugar when they've had a sugar hit and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
You wait till they're calm, and the next morning, and you say, "Hey, you know how you were a little bit cranky yesterday afternoon? Let's try this Gabriel Method friendly xylitol or coconut palm sugar in your smoothie this morning and see how that works, because the sugar isn't so good for you. So let's try this." And they're in a place where they can absorb that and learn it. And so
Yeah.
you're educating them all the time about the healthy choices. And
Right.
when they get older, they'll have that information that they've naturally acquired over the years. They'll be ready to make the best health food choices for themselves then.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah,
So we're running out of time here, Christine, but I understand you've got a recipe that you want to share with us.
I have, John. This is one that I've just come up with. Most of my things are trial and error, and this has been really, really popular and it's worked well. I was looking for an alternative to a carrot cake idea because, I really have liked that in the past. So this is what I came up with. And if you'd like, I'll just read the recipe out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So this has 1.5 cups of carrot pulp. Now, I've used the pulp from my juicing in the morning. Um, but I've tried it with also grating carrot really finely, and if you squeeze it out, you can get it so that you can use it in this recipe. So one and
Okay.
a half cups of carrot pulp, 1.5 cups of almond meal, which I've also just made in my Vitamix. I've just blended up my almonds until they're a meal, but you can buy almond meal as well. A cup of coconut flour, about a quarter of a cup of xylitol, or
Okay.
however sweet you like it, about a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 eggs. Half a cup of almond milk. You might find you need less almond milk if your carrot is moister to start with,
Hmm.
and about a teaspoon of coconut oil. And what I do is just mix that all together in a mixing bowl with a spatula, and it becomes, it sticks together like a slice mix. and I put it into a lined greased slice tray and just press it in lightly, and cook that at about 180 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. Um, and then that comes out like a lovely carrot cake slice. So then we also have an icing for that. I was looking for a tangy icing. So I've put together a cup of raw natural cashews,
No.
a teaspoon of coconut oil,
Mm-hmm.
um, some like just a sprinkle of hemp seeds. It's maybe about a teaspoon of hemp seeds, about a teaspoon of chia seeds, enough almond milk to make it an icing-like consistency. As you're blending in your Vitamix or your blender, you'll see that it's moist enough. And then I've squeezed some lemon juice into that and added also some xylitol just to sweeten it up. And it comes out with this creamy, sweet, tangy icing that goes really well with this carrot cake slice. Um, it's been really a really real hit with the kids too.
That sounds so delicious. So basically, there's
Yeah,
nothing there's all healthy sugars, healthy fats, and protein. That's all I'm hearing. There's no
yeah,
grains, there's no gluten, there's nothing to elevate your insulin levels too
no,
much. It's all
it's
and vegetables really. So
it's
it sounds to me
sugar free, grain free, dairy free.
it sounds tremendous. Now, just if anybody's interested in the recipe, just send us an email and we will provide the recipe for you.
Yeah,
But for anyone else, please try that recipe. I just think it's fabulous. It sounds really, really delicious. Christine, your information is just so super. As I said, there's no one I know more qualified than you to talk on this subject. And the creative solutions that you come up with, they always inspire me. Like even as I'm thinking now how I can provide healthier food for my daughter and my family, there's so many ideas that I now have from this webinar. So I really,
great.
really appreciate your time and all of
It's a
your
pleasure,
expertise in
John.
sharing all this. Yeah.
Thank you, John.
You've
It's a
been you've
pleasure.
been phenomenal. And thanks everyone for joining us in this class today. As you may know, Christine and I are deeply engaged in a very intense period of coaching. The program is called the Ultimate Coaching Program. And we're doing this free series of classes to give you a sense of the kind of information and support you'd receive from our coaching team. The program is via application only, and if you'd like to learn more, please visit thegabrielmethod.com/ultimate. That's thegabrielmethod.com/ultimate. We've got a few spots left, so if it sounds like a good fit for you, I'd encourage you to apply. We plan to have these webinars monthly to share more information with you, so stay tuned for others. Once again, Christine, I really appreciate all your time and expertise. Is there any other advice you want to leave our listeners with before we have to go?
Thank you, John. I think just remember that there's always something you can do, and not to focus on what you can't do, but focus on what you can do, and that you'll find a way that works for you.
Awesome. Christine, you are such an inspiration. Your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, your love, your caring, everything you're doing in your life is just so beautiful, and I can't thank you enough for your time.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure.
Okay, take care.
Bye now.